Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Just double checking as always.
Yep.
So, guys, do you realize that on the 29th of this month, in just a couple days, it's going to be 16 years since Hurricane Katrina hit? And this was the costliest hurricane in the US, over around 106 billion in US dollars. 62 tornadoes were spawned in 8 different states. Look at the size of that storm surge, 26 feet, completely enveloping houses. You know, the lives lost here is listed as 1,200. Some have rumored numbers many, many, many more times that. This thing was a tropical depression on the 23rd, and then come the 25th, it was a Category 1, and when it hit, it was Category 5, 160-mile-an-hour winds. This is a massive, massive storm. And usually we like to cover more than one topic as far as when we're doing earth changes. But here I want to just focus on pretty much this one thing because it really feels very important that we put our intentions out there to counteract the enhancements that might be going on in regards to the storm. Again, you know, every time I look at the forecast for this thing, it changes. When you see what Katrina did, it was just devastating. 80% of New Orleans was underwater. I have a cousin that moved from Connecticut to New Orleans, you know, way back in the end of the 80s, been there ever since. He's a musician and he loves it. He loves the place, and he lost his house and ended up living in a FEMA trailer for quite a long time. This really was devastating. It just absolutely annihilated everything in its path. And of course, you know, we've had other big, big storms, but Katrina really still tops the list. As you guys must remember, all the people that were packed into the Superdome and just trying to ride things out. Well, you know, now we have Hurricane Ida, and now it's forecast to reach Category 4. I mean, this has changed so fast as far as what they were expecting. We were just looking yesterday and looking at possibility of a Cat 1, then Cat 2, then this morning, not too long ago, talking about Cat 3. Now they're already talking about a Cat 4. New Orleans mayor says it's too late for mandatory evacuations, but he does recommend everybody head for the hills. As New Orleans itself is under sea level, you know, and of course, so much of this whole area is reclaimed from the Gulf. This is not a good situation. And so obviously a hurricane warning, it's developed more rapidly than anybody was prepared for. No indications that it's going to weaken. Time is not on our side, you know. I was kind of feeling that this was going to be getting that steroidal blast, you know, that enhancement. And yeah, so it's expected to be catastrophic Category 4. I don't know. Well, I wouldn't be surprised at all, not in the very least, if this is something that goes to Cat 5 and, you know, is very, very equivalent to Katrina and landing basically 16 years later to the very day.
Right, all right. So, I mean, this is something that's looking very, very serious, could really harm a lot, and we want to try to mitigate this damage as much as possible. And I've seen you guys, you know, change things in the past on different videos and different shows that we have done. And some of you have some very, very powerful visualizing abilities that you could help visualize this thing. You know, I know Mother Nature needs to do her thing, but maybe we could just visualizing her just doing her thing gently.
Right. That's very well put, as you see here. And you know, I'm kind of expecting that they're gonna keep amping up what they're expecting this storm to do. So my thought was, why don't we put it out there now? Let's envision basically the storm weakening. let's see if we have some shift in the atmospheric winds that's going to cut in and impede the development of this storm. Let's see if we see any sort of technology that might be being used. Let's see it just basically, maybe it goes up in smoke.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe it sparks a little, cataclysm of its own, and may the karma be returned to those that are putting out this negative karma
Right.
towards humanity, because many people are aware of all the declassified documents on weather control and modification. It's just right out there. There's been documents that are declassified that are over 100 years old now, talking about exactly that: weather enhancement, weather control, weather modification, geoengineering. It's a science. And some countries have admitted to it, and other ones, the documentation's out there. And we know, we're in weather wars right now. It's pretty obvious there's weather wars going on right now, as we're seeing everything from these floods to the wildfires. And we were pointing out with the wildfires too, how, isn't it curious, now all of a sudden they're finding a lot of them are being caused on purpose by humans.
Yeah, how
Isn't
about
that
that?
curious?
Yeah.
That some things are being let out into the open there, and humans without technology other than perhaps a match or a lighter.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just incredible how they keep catching these people doing this, and they plaster it all over mainstream news.
Well, we know there's an instrument that angels don't play up in Alaska that can influence things like this. And we wonder, what can CERN do besides opening up black holes to pull in some demonic entities,
Mm-hmm.
as we've all heard of and really don't doubt either. Um, and not just demonic, but others as well of the dark persuasion. We know that the ability is out there to influence the weather, and I think most of us on this channel think that it is in use on a regular basis. And you got to be suspicious when you see things like this. So, with us, let's counteract this with our own intention. May the technologies being used fail. May Mother Nature ease this storm. May the wind patterns become less favorable. And, may we be able to mitigate what looks to be major damage that is likely to occur from this. It's moving northwest at 15 miles an hour. I remember seeing Harvey make a right turn all of a sudden when it seemed like something was launched into the air, and all of a sudden Harvey just sort of went and stalled, and created all that flooding. How about Florence? It created all the flooding on the Carolina coast. Maximum damage from this thing would probably be this thing racing in, getting stronger and stronger, CAT 5, and then all of a sudden you watch that forward movement slow. And again, we could almost guess what's going to happen if we're not able to use our intentions to counteract it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, let's call on all the higher powers that are out there that are willing and able to help us to lend their powers and their abilities and their focus to mitigating what could be an absolutely catastrophic situation here. And this does have the potential to be a Katrina 2, perhaps on the exact same day as the original 16 years ago. And we see that basically these computer models, they're pretty much in line. You just have this one model over here, the TABS model, that has it coming in farther west and then doing a complete 90-degree turn and cutting across. All the rest of them are in pretty good agreement. This is going to kind of ride up the Mississippi River and then head over into Tennessee and then starting to move more towards the northeast. So again, I want to ask you guys to put out your intent, and may this not be a Katrina situation. May this storm not grow any stronger. May it actually start to crumble and fall apart. And we ask all those benevolent beings in the higher densities, including, the archangels, the ascended masters, all the beings of love and light, and Mother Earth herself. Again, we are part of the planet in the sense that each one of us should be behaving like a symbiotic cell in the body. We're truly the system. It's the system that acts as a cancer. And I know most people would do a little bit extra,
Mm-hmm.
do a little bit more, put in a little bit more effort to take care of their mother. Well, it's the same thing with the planet. It is, she is our mother of these physical bodies.
And since we do have a lot of water coming, the guides were just now telling me as we put out our intentions to send our healing energies toward the water that's in the sky. So as the water hits the earth, hits the planet, wherever it may land, bring more healing. And ask your pets in on it too. Pets are very, very intuitive. They understand, what we're asking them in our minds. They get it. Ask for their energy too.
That's a beautiful idea. Yeah, may this storm be cleansing in a positive respect. There's something called structured water that
Mm-hmm.
was brought up today in one of our sessions. It was a really busy day today. Um, and it's interesting how nature structures water naturally. And all the processes that man does kind of destructures it. Everything in this world is really all about devolving instead of involving. And it's not the natural order of things. This we are supposed to be going on an upward trajectory, and everything that's being done by the controllers of this globe, it's all about doing the exact opposite, lowering the vibes, creating chaos, fear, and bringing us down. They know their time is short, and ultimately they're going to fail, but they want to just bring as many and keep as many in their vibrational frequency zone, which is very, very limited. So again, we have tremendous power within us. So let's call on that power. Let's call on our higher selves. Let's call on, God with the big G. You could call on Yeshua, any saints, any ascended masters, any of the angelic realm, the devas, any that you feel comfortable with, any guides, the galactics. Ask for help. Mitigate the effects of this potentially devastating storm,
Mm-hmm.
and let's see a different outcome. The other thing I just wanted to touch on this one is 211 quakes in Hawaii, 536 quakes in the last 24-hour period. So yeah, the question is Kilauea, when we look at the location, this looks to be related to Kilauea, possibly some magma movement. Are we going to see another eruption? Would not surprise me in the least. We'll probably see something bigger though first. You might see something in the 6.5 up to a 7 or low 7 range before the eruption. We'll keep our eyes out on that as well. And thank you guys also for your support on Ko-Fi, Patreon, Medicinal Foods. We've seen a lot of people placing orders, and all the feedback has been very, very positive. You could use the coupon code EEA for an extra 5% off the order. And then as you fill up the cart at checkout, you get automatic discounts up to 25% off and free shipping. Guys, use the power that lies within you. Let's start stopping these plans of these dark forces. Let's start thwarting them at every opportunity. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.